How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another episode of Previously in DBS. Apologies for it being quite late. I've had a busy weekend, especially getting my first jab as well. So I had a bit of a delay for this. But this week we had quite a few spoilers. We had the multicolour and green spoilers. As you know, Bandai laid out the roadmap for when the reveals of the set 4 team was going to drop. And so far we had the starter decks, then we had blue and black, then yellow, and now this week we have, well, last week we had green and multicolour. So we got quite a few reveals to go into them, and as you know, the series is going over the week's news, covering all spoilers and event results and stuff like within Europe. So without further ado, we'll get into it. So first lot of reveals we got was showing some of the tournament pack cards. And I don't know if they were meant to show the cards as the winner versions, but they showed us the multicolour cards in tournament kit and the black, a black promo as well. And they showed us the multicolour ones as the winner stamp. So we now know that these two are going to be winner stamps, but we haven't seen the normal art, so I'm not sure if that was an error on Bandai's part, but hey ho, we now know early two of the winner cards. So first one we have is Super 17 Relentless Absorption. It's a free cost 16k, and like with most multicolors, energy exhaust is standard, and it's got a successor for either a red, for one yellow or one green, and also has Union Absorb with limit 1 for one yellow or one green. And the Union Absorb is if your leader card is an android card and you have 4 or more energy, you may place one cell card from your deck or drop area under this card, and if you do, you use up to one Super 17 cell absorb, so that's the green one for set 6 and a set 5, or Super 17 Hellstorm Unleash, which is the multicolour 9-drop from set 9 in your deck or hand. Play it with its keyword skills negated for the turn, then shuffle your deck if you look through it. So that's pretty cool. It doesn't drop it until you can't use it until turn 4, so it's you can see Bandai is slowing down the game, trying to make it so it lasts a bit longer and not end on turn 2, 3. And it gives you the option to grab either the 6 drop from 5, 6 drop from set 5, or the 9 drop from set 9, which is pretty cool. But it does lose its keyword skill, so in the terms of the 9 drop, it's not too bad because the 9 drop still has both of autos triggerable. It just doesn't have the crit, but with the 6 drop, it loses everything like deflect, dual attack, crit. It just has the only benefit really from that, dropping it from this effect, is that you lose the sparking requirement on the auto skill, but then the attack you only attack once with that card then, which sucks. And you can't even give it any other skills either, so you can't swing with it, then put double strike on it because it's keyword skills and you get it for the turn. So it's a pretty interesting card. It's just nice to be able to get out, but then with the 9 drop, you do wait until turn 4 to drop it out. With how it is in the meta, with people soften awakening with the decks, it's unlikely it's going to be do much different. Be very impactful with the 9 drops effect to crit your opponent down to 4. Then we got Raising Transformation, so a bit more Catapesla support. Bandai seems to like the Catapesla chain, which is really, in my opinion, a really nice chain as well. That can go in almost anything. So it's a 1-drop extra card with auto limit 1. If your leader card is black and you choose this card in your drop area and one card in your hand and send them to your warp, when one of your Catapesla cards evolves, add up to 1 black Catapesla card with evolve skill from your deck to your hand and shuffle your deck. So that's pretty cool. So when you evolve, you can sacrifice this card in your drop and a card in your hand to grab another piece of the Catapesla chain that you need, which is really cool, and that's for free. You don't pay the energy cost to trigger this auto. You just need to warp this from your drop and a card from your hand when you evolve with a Catapesla card. And it's got an activate main of play up to 1 Catapesla card with energy cost of 1 from your deck to shuffle your deck. So it's a good way to early turn get it set up by just basically paying that 1 energy, getting out a Catapesla 1 drop. There's 2 options. You can grab the one that either search top 7 for a Catapesla, or one that grabs it from drop and then has the activate main to help make it so by paying 2 you can evolve as much as you want that turn once you reach turn 4. So it's a really strong card for the bringing it together. It reminds like this kind of thing, like bringing out little bits. Overall, reminds me of like with Yu-Gi-Oh! When you used to bring little bits of things like the Dustins and things like that. You used to bring out small bits over time until it became like a full deck, which is pretty cool. And then the last TP we got shown this week is Saiyan Shield Raditz, which is a free drop 16k, which energy source and barrier. With the auto of limit 1, if you have 4 or more energy and you place this card in its owner's drop area, when an opponent's card is sent to the warp, choose up to one. When an opponent's card is sent to this warp, choose up to one red or green Vegeta card with energy cost of 4, and up to one red or green Nappa with energy cost of 4 in your deck, and play them with their non-keyword skills to get for the turn for the game. They shuffle your deck. So it's quite similar to Android 17, Super 17s are. You get something a bit cheaper. So you still have to pay the free energy cost to have this on board, and then sack this off after. And you need to have 4 more energy. But it's easy triggerable with the old Raditz leader, because the leader, when it attacks, it makes your opponent warp a card from hand, so it's easy triggerable from that. And I think there are other ways you can. I'm not sure. Actually, there might be other ways you can probably trigger this quite easily, but then you're restricted to you've got to bring out a Vegeta and Nappa that has to be a 4 cost. No lenience there. It's got to be a 4 cost one, but they can be between either red or green. So I can't remember off by if there's any great targets. I know there's a Nappa from Evolution Battle that could be pretty good for this, but I'm not sure for a Vegeta though, because the Vegeta's the red and green. I can't remember any amazing red or green Vegeta. I think there's the one for the Majin Vegeta deck. I can bring out this, which might be good, but I'm not 100% sure. But then loses non-keyword skills for the game, so any autos and I think doesn't trigger. It loses, but it still keeps the keyword skills. That's a really tournament back card. It's pretty interesting. I'm liking the Raging Transformation because I do like the Capes chain, and I've got it for Hatch. But then I see Hatch evolving and changing to not really use a chain for a future. Then for green we have, so as if you read the designer notes for green is focused around the Bibbidi and Boo saga, and for the normally every single, well, most sets, I think, or maybe all sets, they have 2 leaders for each colour, apart from black. Black sometimes gets 2, sometimes gets 1, sometimes gets none. But with normally it's a 1 leader for the good side and 1 leader for the bad side. And for the good side, for green, we have a Videl leader. So for the first time in the card game, Videl, after 14 sets, gets a leader card. And it's revolved around skills as well, which is pretty cool. So on the front side, it's got an auto when it's extra 1, standard for most leaders. It's got quite a few autos. Second auto is once per turn. When one of your skills battle cards is used in a combo, you draw 1 card, and that's a 1 card from your life to your hand. That's pretty cool. And then auto once per turn, Spirit Burst 1. If it's your opponent's turn and a skills battle card with energy cost of 1 is being used in your combo from your hand, when a skills battle card with energy cost of 1 in your combo area will be placed in your owner's drop area, play it instead. So that's pretty cool. Just like sacking off a marker from your Unison, you can, and by comboing your skills from your hand, you can play it instead, which is cool. And then the mid-range awakening of when your life is 4 or less, you may draw 1 card, untap an energy, and flip it over. So when it's flipped over, it's Videl the Town's heroine with another 3 autos. So the first one is when it attacks, you draw a card, choose up to one of your green Unison cards and switch to the rest mode. Then add that card's power to this card's power for the battle. Now this has been errated when they did the ban list, which we'll go over in a bit as well. They misprinted this, like the ban list do with a lot of things. They tend to accidentally print the wrong text before the card even comes out. So the only change for this is you need to switch a Union card that's in active mode to rest mode. So you can't just choose one of your green Unisons, even if it's in red mode. You actually physically switch an active mode Unison to rest mode, which makes it a little bit less amazing, but still pretty good. And then the second auto is once per turn, when one of your skills battle cards using a combo, it gets 4,000 combo power for the battle. Then you draw 1 card. So you can draw few cards with this leader just by looking at both those first two skills on each side. which is pretty cool. And then the last skill, auto skill, is the same as on the front side, but as well as playing the one drop skills, you get to give it 5,000 power for the turn as well. So it's pretty cool. And I think it's not limited to your opponent's turn either as well. So it's no longer limited to your opponent's turn, and the one drop you play gets 5,000 power for the battle extra. And then the unison that's really made for the leader is Great Saiyaman, the Mysterious Hero, one special high cost green unison with 6k power. 3 skills, like most of the ones have in this set. They have one auto that has something that happens with Spirit Boost, and then marker skills. So this one, it's not auto skill, is once per turn when you remove a marker from this card using Spirit Boost skill, you choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 2 or less and KO it. So that's pretty cool. Standard green, popping things. Then it's he's got a +1 and a +/-0 marker skill. So the +1 is activate main, and it's a 1 green skill battle card with energy cost of 1 from your deck to your hand and shuffle it deck. So you get some search ability, which is cool, while plussing the markers. And its also is when this card is attacked, choose up to 1 green skillless earthling card from your hand and use it in a combo. So that means it's just anytime when you want, when somebody's attacked, you can for free just combo a skillless green battle card from your hand in a combo to gain a marker. So this is better used when the unison's attacked, because if anything else is attacked, you can normally just combo anyway. So it's just more when the unison's attacked, you can have a chance to increase the power, so the opponent can just run over it. So if they're trying to run into it with a 10k, you can use that skill, combo with a 5k skillless from your hand that you just added with the +1, and now it's 11k left to combo up to try and out combo it, which is pretty cool. But it is interesting that this one's focused around the skillless, and mainly focused around one drop skillless, which is pretty interesting. Then for more Videl support, we have with the archetype, we have Videl with all her strength, so one of the SCRs for in green and for the Videl deck. It's a free cost 5k with blocker and 2 autos. First one, limit 1 for 1 green. If you have a green skillless battle card in play, when your opponent attacks, you play this card from your hand, so you can cheat it out. And the second also is if your leader card is green or a heroine card. When this card is played from your hand, your opponent may choose 2 cards from their hand and discard them. If they don't know, you can choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and energy cost 7 or less to KO it. So that's pretty cool. So you can bring out by the auto on your opponent's turn, and then they've got a choice. They have to discard 2 cards, or you pop something at 7 or less, and if they swing with a battle card, they've got to decide whether they want to lose 2 cards from hand or lose that battle card to swing with, which is cool. And then you have as blocker for the next attack after that. And then we have SS Sun Gohan, Glimpsing Potential. So this is a 2 cost 15k with an auto and activate main. The auto is if your leader card is a heroine card. When this card is played, play up to 1 skills battle card with entry cost of 1 from your deck. Then shuffle your deck, then choose up to 2 of your skills battle cards and you gain 5,000 power for the turn. So it's pretty cool. So with the unison turn 1, you can then use Spirit Boost on your leader to, after you combo with a skillless, to play it by sacrificing a marker. And then turn 2, you can play the Gohan, bring out another one from your deck, and then you could make them both the one you already have from last turn, and the new one you brought out 15k as well. So a bit of Weenie Rush, which is interesting. Then you have the activate main limit 1. If your leader card is a heroine card and you have 2 or more energy, you can choose one of your green unison cards with 6,000 power and a marker on it, and place this card under it from your hand or battle area. Add a marker to the chosen unison card, then draw 1 card. So this is pretty cool. So if the unison does survive after turn 1, you can then, after swinging with this of course, because you want to swing with it, you can put this under the unison to keep its markers up, and then draw a card, which is not too bad, because you get 3 swings out of it when you play it on turn 2 after playing unison turn 1, and then you can increase your markers on unison to keep it alive for longer, and also get a drawback as well. So when you play it, you +1 of getting another skill set from your deck, and then you replace itself with a new card in your hand and a marker on unison. So that's quite good value, I feel. Then we have Sun Gohan Majin Exterminator. This is a 3 cost 19k with deflect, double strike and dual attack, which is quite a few keyword skills and quite good ones as well. It's got a permanent of if your leader card is a green earthling card, green skillless battle cards in your combo area gain 5,000 combo power while this card is in battle. So that's pretty cool. So it turns your skillless cards, in green skillless battle cards, into pseudo super combos. By pseudo super combos, I mean they're basically free 10Ks. And it's got an auto: when this card is played, you may add up to one green skillless battle card from your drop area to your hand. If you do, place one skillless green battle card from your drop area at the bottom of your deck. So that's interesting, putting them in the bottom in the deck, but then you can play them. That way you get some more searchability from the Unison to keep grabbing them, recycling them, which is pretty cool. And then next we have the green skillless we have in the set, which are just two Videls. So just two Videls, one after the other, same power, same stats, just different artwork, which is pretty cool, and different card numbers, which is interesting. So that's it for the Videl stuff. Next we have the Boo stuff. So as for the bad side of the green leaders, we have Boo as the villain. So on its front side, it's got an auto and an activate main and a awaken skill. So the auto is once per turn, place one card from your life under this card. When this card attacks, draw two cards. So that's pretty cool. Place a card under it. So it's reminiscent of the old blue one, like the first blue Boo one we got, where you put cards under it for skills and stuff. But instead of from your deck, you take from your life, which gives you soft awakening as well. So just putting a life underneath itself to draw two cards when it attacks. Then it's got an activate main of once per turn, Spirit Boost 1, so you got to sacrifice a marker to use the skill. Place up to one battle card with energy cost of 4 or less from your opponent's drop area under this card. Choose up to one of the chosen card's keyword skills, and this card gains that skill for the turn. So that's pretty cool, because that means you can you got some grave control, drop control with by taking your opponent's cards put under it, so they have no way to interact or get it back or anything, because it's under your leader card, which is inaccessible to them. And if it's got a skill like critical, double strike, or anything like that gives your leader as well. So giving your leader double strike or double strike or crit or something from one of your opponent's cards for the turn is pretty cool. And at the cost of one marker, it's not too bad. And then once again, it's got the mid-range awakening, where if you like a 4 or less, you can draw one, untap one, and flip it over. Then when you do flip it over, it becomes Majin Buu unadulterated might. I can't say that word properly. Apologies. Then it's got the standard auto once per turn. When this card attacks, draw one card. It's interesting. It's once per turn for that swing for both of them, because I think there's ways to untap your leader. I can't remember 100%. But it's got two activate mains. First one is once per turn for Spirit Boost 1. Which is like that's it. So that one is exactly the same as the front side, but you take it from your opponent's battle area as well. So you can on the front side, that skill takes a battle card of 4 cost or less from your opponent's drop area, but when you awaken, you can take it from your opponent's battle area or drop area, which is pretty cool. So taking your opponent's battle card, it's like almost like Mecha, where you're taking your opponent's battle cards but this is from battle or drop, which is quite cool. And you gain, you can choose one of the keyword skills on the card you just took, and add it to the leader for the turn, which is pretty nice. Then its last skill is activate main once per turn. Place 2 cards under this card in its drop area. Then this card gains 5,000 power until the start of your next main phase. So having a 5k boost for 2 turns is pretty strong. This reminds me of the Clash of Fates Freezer, which was able to do that by discarding a card and killing something on your board off. You got a 5k boost until the end of your opponent's turn. And then the Unison of choice, or the Unison for the Archetype in the set, is Bubbly Wicked Mentor. Another one specified cost Unison, but this one's at 1k. But it's only got one marker skill. But it does have a permanent also. Permanent being if you have a battle card with the Servant skill in play in rest mode, your opponent can attack this card. And then also once per turn, when you remove a marker from this card using a Spirit Boost skill, it gains Overlord for the turn. So that's pretty cool. I can gain Overlord, and that's relevant because of his activate main marker skill, which is a +2. Choose up to one of your mono green Majin Buu cards with energy cost with a rangeful power of 15,000 or less. In rest mode in your battle area, the chosen card gains Servant until the end of your opponent's next turn. So that's the way how it can trigger the permanent and make it so your opponent can't attack it by using the +2 to give one of your Majin Boos with 15k power less than rest on your side of the board servant, so it gains an extra 10k but doesn't restand at the start of your untap phase, but it loses the servant at the end of your opponent's next turn, so it won't restand at the end of your when it comes to your turn, which is pretty cool. And in conjunction with that, you can also gain the overlord on it, so you can get that bottom decking at the draw 1, which is pretty cool. So that's it for the leader and the unison. For the archetype, we have some 1-drop boos and a 2-drop boo. So these two 1-drop boos, so I think they all have the Uni-Absorb skill. These three all have the Uni-Absorb skill, which is a once per turn, choose one card under your Majin leader card and place this card choose one card under your Majin leader card and place it under this card. You can play up to one monogreen Majin Buu with energy cost of 4 and 15k power from your deck or drop area on top of this card, then shuffle your deck, you look through it. And that's the same for all three of them. And yeah, and then they have the separate skills. So the first one, Majin Buu Absorption Scheme, is a cantrip. Just when this card's played, draw one card for 1 energy. Pretty cool. And the Majin Buu Never Ending Absorber is a searcher, because when it's played, choose up to 5 cards look at up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, and up to 1 green Majin card with energy cost of 5 or less among them to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So you got one that just draws, one that just searches, which is pretty interesting, and both have the way to start the chain up to go into your 4-drop with Uni-Absorb. And then we have the last one, Majin Buu Brilliant Absorption. So it's pretty interesting with the theme of the ones where Buu has absorbed someone. They will have the evolve skill for a certain amount of energy on top of the card they absorb. So for this one, it's evolve 1 on top of Piccolo. It doesn't need to worry about power level, power cost, or color. Just for 1 evolve on top of Piccolo. And it's also a Spirit Boost 1. If one of your green Majin Buu cards is removed from your battle area by opponent's skill, you play this card from your hand. So that means if your opponent gets rid of one of when you go into 4-drop, your opponent gets rid of it. You can, by sacrificing a skill mark on your unison, you can play this from your hand for free, which is pretty cool. So you can have to start the chain back up again. And what the chain goes into, these ones. Well, the first one is a Majin Buu Unadulterated Malice. So this is the reminiscent of Topo figurine, but a little bit better. Well, a little bit better in some senses. Like, so Topo was a 4-drop 20k. This Majin Buu is a 2-cost 10k. So quite different in cost and power, but even though the Topo could be played as a 2-cost. The Majin Buu's counter attack skill, so it's also got the same Uni-Absorb as the previous three. But its counter attack is if your leader card is green, so it's restricted to the green, like Topo, which is restricted to you having 1 red energy. Negate the attack, then play this card. If you played a card, choose up 1 card in your hand. Well, choose 1 card in your hand and discard it. Your opponent can't attack for the turn unless they choose 2 cards in their hand and discard them each time. So it's reminiscent in Topo by the cost. Both of them were 2 costs to negate the attack. But the Topo has to discard to trigger the negate, which Buu doesn't. Buu, if it does get played, you can then choose to discard a card to then make it that your opponent can't attack for the turn unless they choose those 2 cards and discard it. Whereas the Topo is an auto. So they both have to be played to get the effect off. But Topo was an auto, whereas Majin Buu is all in the counter attack skill. And then the Majin Buu you're going to be Uni-Absorbing with the previous 4 cards effects is Majin Buu Mighty Absorption. This one is the one that absorbs Gotenks, so it's got the Evolve 1 on top of a Gotenks. It's got 3 skills. It's got Permanent, Auto, and Activate Main. The Permanent is if this card would be removed from your battle area by opponent's skill, you may remove 1 of your Majin tokens from the game instead. Now, how do you make Majin tokens? Well, with its auto, is when this card is played, add to 1 green Unison card with 10k power from your deck to your hand, and shuffle your deck. If you added a card from your hand, choose 1 card in your hand and discard it. So that doesn't make tokens, but it helps you get your Unison, which is pretty cool. And you can do that turn 1 to grab Unison straight from the deck to your hand. And then we have the Activate Main Limit 1, which is how you get tokens, which is Limit 1 and Spirit Boost 1. So you can activate this effect once across all copies of the card for the turn, and you need to sacrifice a marker to do so. Play 1 Majin token, then add 1 card from your life to your hand. So he's got Self-Awakening there, and get you a token. And the tokens are pretty decent as well because they're 15k power, 0 combo cost, and 5k combo power, so they can use for combos or attacking, because 15k can connect decently to your opponent's Awakened Leader. Then we have Majin Buu. Next one is the SR for one of the SRs for the Buu archetype, and this one is Majin Buu Ultimate Despair. So this is the one that evolves on top absorb Gohan, so it's got Evolve for free energy on top of Son Gohan Adolescence. It's got the same permanent as the previous Buu, where if it would be removed by skill, you can sacrifice a token instead. And its also is when this card is played from your hand, you play 1 Majin token, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and place it under this card. So it also gives you a token instead of searching for Unison, and also allows you to absorb one of your opponent's battle cards. And now, as you can see, it's a 20k power, not 15k power, so it can't be union absorbed in by your the previous little Buus, but it does have a way to play itself with the Activate main for 2 green. If you have 3 or more mono green energy and you choose 1 green battle card and place 1 card under it in its owner's drop, play this card from your hand. So by sacrificing a card from under one of your green battle cards, and by having 3 energy and paying 2 green, you can play this card from your hand, which is pretty cool. So that's it for those bits of the Buu archetype. And next we have the big Buu boss monster. So the Buu deck got itself a pretty cool boss card. Now some people consider this to be amazing, some people consider this to be not great. I think it's alright. So it's a 5 cost 30k with 5 specified green and a 0 cost 5k combo power. It has Deflect and Revenge, so it counter plays can't stop it, and Revenge make it so if anything attacks into its battle card will die unless it can be KO'd by battle. And it has 3 skills. It has a permanent and 2 autos. Permanent is while this card is in rest mode, your opponent can't attack your leader card unless they choose 2 cards in hand and discard them each time. Goes like a topo on a deadly defender, making it so your opponent can't attack your leader unless they want to sacrifice 2 cards each time they try to do so. And then its first auto is when this card is played from your hand, choose all other non-token cards in all battle areas and Unison cards in your bar and negate their skills and place them as drop areas. Your opponent then chooses 2 cards in the hand and discards them, and if your leader card is a mono green Majin card, place those cards under your leader card instead. So that is a very strong card, being a board wipe, going through barrier for everything in the battle area, meaning it hits fill cards as well. And this can get rid of all King Cold's fill cards. It can get rid of I think it can also get rid of the Tyrell's Tree of Might, I think as well. But basically just clear all your opponent, everything in the battle area on both sides of the board. So it hit your aura stuff. Like it is being quite interesting in OG Broly, I feel, because when you get to turn 5, you can drop this because you're a hand control deck with OG Broly. So when you play this, you'll be giving yourself a deadly defender, even though you'll be getting rid of your card. And it's not too bad because it won't come back, but you're reducing the amount of cards in your opponent's hand. And when this is in rest mode, after attacking with it, your opponent won't be able to attack your leader. It has to attack this first, unless they want to discard 2 cards each time. If they don't have 2 cards because you're hand controlling them, they can't attack. So say by playing this, you ditch your opponent's hand, like the last 2 cards in your opponent's hand, and swing at them. Swing at them and then swing with your lead to make them lose a card. If you've got still a token on the board, something like that. If they start the turn and then charge, they got 1 card in hand, they can't even attack with leader because unless they want to attack this card, which then it's 30k, it's gonna be hard to get over. And it's hard to remove this card by battle or KO because of its ever auto, where if you have 5 or more energy, which is normally when you're going to play this, when you get the turn 5. If this card is placed in your drop area from your battle area by an opponent's skill, play this card from your drop area. So to get rid of this, they have to either warp it, bounce it back to hand. Like as long as they don't if they put in your drop area from the battle area by a skill, it just comes straight back. But if they put it anywhere else, like warp, bottom deck, back to hand, or kill it by battle, then it doesn't come back. So it's a pretty decent card. I'm going to be interested in putting 2 in my OG Broly deck, because it's quite cool. Then we have some green help support. So like with most of the cards in the with the EXTRA-GARDS in the set, they've got some help in the form of against certain things. So Android 18 is the same, Ready for a Fight is the same as the yellow one we got in yellow and one we got in blue in the last set of Vegeta, where if you it's help against burn damage for green. So if your leader card is green, when you take damage from an opponent's non-keyword skill, you may play this card from your hand. If you do, add a top card of your deck to your life, and you can activate the auto skill and copy this card for the game. So there's a bit of anti-burn, just a 1-use anti-burn card for non-keyword skills. So it does affect the alliance skill, but things like catastrophic blow and things like that, where you would take unnecessary burn, or King Vegeta, you can replace the burn you would have taken. And blue got 1 in last set, and now all the other colours seem to be getting 1 their copies in this set, which is pretty interesting. It's interesting they got 1 in one set and the rest in the next set instead of them all in the one set. And then like how yellow got their Gohan, which was like anti-hand destruction, green now has 1 in SSVG Majin Exterminator, because it's got the same skills as the yellow Gohan from, I think, last set, or the set before. No, I think it is last set. Where auto, if your leader card is green, when this card is discarded from your hand by an opponent's skill, you play this card from your drop, and then when this card is played, you draw 1 card. So just like the Gohan, where if your opponent makes you discard this instead, then you play it from your drop and draw a card. And then like the rest of the colours, I've been getting Reboot Gohan hate, so like a silver button for Reboot Gohan and leaders that can attack multiple times, with the Majin Buu for the enemy, which is a counter attack limit 1. If your leader card is green, you get the attack, then play this card in rest mode. If you negate a leader attack with a skill, your opponent can't attack with their leader card for the turn. And then the permanent of you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost by paying the cost for a Spirit Boost 2 instead. So you can play it for free by moving 2 markers from Unison. So this is interesting, like getting it all now, but it seems a bit pointless given what happened on the ban list, which we'll go over in a bit. The more green stuff, we have the green super combos. So nothing more to say. Green have got 2 super combos set, 1 being the same as with the other colours. In this set, we're getting for other colours what they've got used for an interaction with Spirit Boost skill, and it's just Hercule, which is so nothing more to say with super combos, just that green's getting 2 in this set. And then we got the other support for green. So we got the Son Goku Spirit Bomb Unleashed, which is the green version of what the colours seem to be getting in terms of like, in a sense, like similar to Tapion from blue, where it requires only Unison. So it's a free cost 15k, activate main, limit 1 for 1 green. If you have 3 or more energy and a green Unison card to play this card from your hand. If you do, choose it to 1 your opponent's Unison cards and remove a marker from it. So similar to the Tapion, plays itself for 1 green, only once across all copies of the card. But instead of drawing a card, you remove a marker from your opponent's Unison. So it's pretty cool. There's not never activate main to kind of be a game ender, which is once per turn Spirit Boost X. X meaning you choose a number of markers for it, and you have that. It's got to be on a green Unison card. This card gains 5,000 power for the turn for each marker you remove from your Unison card with this skill. And if you remove 2 or more markers, this card gains double strength for the turn. So just by removing 2 markers, you get 25k double strength for this, which is pretty decent. Then we got Krillin, a brief return, so never 4 cost 20k blocker Krillin, for like the Kill Krillin theme that goes with the original, the Clash of Fates Goku stuff. So it's blocker, 2 autos, first one being at the end of your turn switches card active mode, and then the other auto being when this card is removed from your battle area by opponent's skill or KO'd, choose it to 1 of your opponent's Unison cards and remove a marker from it. So this is pretty cool, and I'm going to enjoy putting this in the cube. Just having a 20k attacker Krillin that again restands to block the next turn, and if it's moved by a skill or even KO'd, you've got some marker removal as well on Unisons. And then lastly we have the Broly Berserker for his army. So this is the card that when we saw the TP, the green TP field card that kind of hinted at a 3 cost Broly. This is the card that can get out of it. So it's unique. It's a 3 cost 15k send Frieza Army green card with unique. Permanent and auto. Permanent is if your leader card is a green Frieza's Army card or a Frieza Clan card or a green Frieza Clan card. Reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1 for each green extra card in your battle area and drop area. So you can play this in King Cold or the Green Frieza or the old Green Broly BR card deck. And it's got an auto. If your leader has 3 or more energy, when this card is removed from your battle area by opponent's skill, you may choose 2 cards in your hand and discard them. If you do, choose up to 1 mono green Broly BR card with energy cost of 6 or 7 in your hand and play it. So this allows you to go into. So this is a new Broly BR that helps go into the chain, but this one allows you to choose which chain, being the Star Deck chain or the Set 6 chain, and has the restriction of you have to wait a bit. So it's not less aggressive, more balanced in the fact that your opponent has to have 3 or more energy, which is pretty good. So you can't just go ham up with this turn 2 or turn 1. You have to wait until your opponent at least has had 3 turns before you can do this, which is pretty cool. And then we got some new extra cards. So we got Heart of a Maiden, Defender of Justice, and Diabolic Blow. So Heart of a Maiden, I think we saw this a bit earlier in the design notes, is a 1-cost green extra card. Activate main if your leader card is a heroine card. Look up to 7 cards on top of your deck and choose 1. You can either add up to 2 green skillless battle cards among them to your hand and shuffle your deck, or if you don't have a Unison card in play, you can play it to 1 green Unison card with 6,000 power among them with a marker on it, then shuffle your deck. So it's just like with the extra card, the negative energy Dragon Balls in black extra card, where you can look at the top 7 and play a total Unison from that. This allows you to play either the Pan Unison from the Champion Pack Volume 2 cards or the Greatest Amount 1 from the set. It's pretty cool. And then we got Defender of Justice, which is the token negate, the unnegatable token negates that each card is getting. So Defender of Justice, counter attack, negate the attack and choose up to 1 of your opponent's token cards and remove it from the game. And once again, the permanent where this card's skills can't be negated in any area. Then we have the next one, Diabolic Blow. Activate main battle, choose 1. You can either choose it to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 3 or less, kill it and draw a card, or choose 1 of your opponent's using cards and remove a marker from it. So it's similar to the Absolute Confidence blue card we got in set 10 for blue, where it was either bounce a battle card of 3 cost or less, or remove a marker from a Unison card. Green now gets 1 as well, which is pretty cool. And then we have the last 3 being Power Beyond Super Saiyan 2, which is a 1-cost green counterplay, where if your opponent plays a Unison card, they remove a marker from it. If they don't, choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So it's either lose a marker or lose 1 of your battle cards, which is pretty cool, especially for 1 energy. Then we have Commemorative Photo, which is a kind of trolly one, which I've seen a lot of people say they want to put on their deck just for the humour, which is activate main for 1 energy. Your opponent may add all their life to their hand, which is pretty cool. So if you play it, your opponent can either add all to life of their hand if they want. If not, you just use 1 energy for it. So it's more of a troll. And then we have the last one, 1-cost green extra card, Wicked Mimicry, which is a counter attack, Spirit Boost X again. So remove X markers from your Unison card activated skill. Negate the attack if you remove the remove marker from your green Unison card using the skill. Play 1 Majin token in rest mode. So the thing with this is you can choose 0 for markers. So if you choose to remove 0 markers, you still negate, but you don't get to play a token, and it doesn't matter how many tokens markers you remove, you still only play 1 token, not 1 for each, which is a bit of a shame. Then it's got a permanent of if one of your green Unison cards is attacked, you may activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost by choosing 1 card in your hand and discarding it. So this is pretty cool how you can have a free negate by discarding 1 card in your hand for against one if it's against your Unison card. And that's it for the green cards in the set. Next we have the multicolours. We have first one, Cyberman, Faithful to the End. So this is support for the Cyberman archetype with Nappa in Evolution Battle. So I'm going to skip over Energy Exhaust because all multicolour cards have Energy Exhaust, but it's got unique. A permanent, where if you have a Cyberman card in play, you get this card's Energy Exhaust in all areas. So this is like the new kind of, they're doing more check lands that ignore energy exhaust, which is pretty cool. But they're making them more like theme specific, like archetype or theme specific. Then it's got an auto if your leader card is a Napa card. When one of your Cyberman cards other than the copies of this card is KO'd, you may play this card from your hand. If you do, choose up to 5 Cyberman cards from your drop area other than copies of this card and place it at the bottom of your deck in any order. So this allows you to recycle the Cyberman cards, because that's the thing with Napa. When he attacks, he plays a Cyberman, and after a while you're going to run out of Cyberman in the deck, but this allows you to recycle them so your leader keeps getting that advantage of playing Cyberman, which is pretty cool. Then we have Vegeta Devastating Alliance, which is a free cost 20k with Alliance, green red. If your leader card is red or green, this card gains power equal to the total number, total power to the card switch to rest mode by the skill and double strike for the battle, then you draw 1 card. So this is interesting. It's not as good as the Piccolo Jr. because that draws you 2 cards, or it has double strike and it's cheaper. But this one can be played off the Vegeta lineage chain, as we saw with the King Vegeta 2 cost multicolor one from Evolution Battle that can be arrivaled in for free. This can be played off that, which is pretty cool. So there's a good target for that now. And then we have Hitful as attacker, as 2 cost 5k with barrier, permanent. So similar like when the check land permanents, where if you have a blue or yellow Universe 6 card in play, then you get this card's energy skill in all areas, so helpful. Check land for Universe 6. Then it's got an auto. When this card is played from your hand, you may draw 1 card, and if you don't, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode. So you can either draw a card or KO something, and it just has to be in rest mode. It doesn't care what energy costs or anything like that, or power, just KO in your rest mode, which is pretty cool. And then it's got an activate main to help with the support the set 7, I think, or set 8. I think it is set 7. Hit stuff, which is activate main once per turn for 1 energy. If you activate the evolve skill on a yellow hit card in your hand this turn, you reduce the energy cost of that evolve skill by 2 yellow, and I think the total cost was 2 yellow and 1 of any colour. So for 2 energy, after you've played this card, which you can play it for free from the old hit leader from set 7, you can evolve into the 5 cost SR hit from that set to flip your opponent's leader over and trigger your Awakened Side's effect to play 1 for free from the drop, which is pretty cool. So it's more like it's nice that we're getting some legacy support for all the archetypes, and seeing that multicolours coming back a little bit. Then with other multicolours got some of my favourites, my 2 favourites from this set from multicolours. First one being Beerus Unceasing Rage, which is an arrival red yellow for 1 red. This is nice that we finally got a arrival for red yellow that is red. Like before, we only have 2 arrival cards in red yellow that I remember, or decent ones anyway, being the King Vegeta and Vegeta Youth, and then the Beerus one. And one was required 1 yellow, and the other one required red and yellow. So now we've got one that just requires red for the deck, which is pretty cool. And it's got an auto. When this card is played, you draw 1 card and choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, and they gain minus 10k power for the turn. So it's pretty cool, almost like the Cooler from set 9, but doesn't go for barrier and has to hit rest mode cards, but still draws you a card instead of your minion opponent one, which is pretty cool. So it releases itself when you play it, and it puts quite a bit of a power difference with the Wii Super Combo as well. And is activate main for 1 red, 1 yellow, and 1 of any colour. Choose all your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, and he gets minus 20k power for the turn, and this card gets 5,000 power and triple strike for the turn. So going to kind of have a finisher, which is pretty cool. I'll definitely be adding this into the cube. It's such a good card. And next we have Sun Gohan and Krillin buying time. So it's a 2 cost 10k blue green with revive. So we more revive support, and it's got an auto of place 1 card from your life in your drop area and choose 1 or 2 effects. When this card is played from your hand, you choose 1 of 2 effects. You can either choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and place it at the bottom of your owner's deck, or if your leader card agrees on Goku card, play up to 1 battle card with revive, blue-green skill with an energy cost of 3 or less from your deck with the skills they get for the turn, then shuffle your deck. So it's not too bad. You get to play like the Gohan and Piccolo revive card from set 8, or there's a Euro or something like that, I think. But his skills negate for a turn, so it's not going to be making much use in that turn. It's not alright, I don't see it being that great. And we got the Android 16 limited disengage with the Ever card. I'm very excited about from what it comes from the set, and definitely an Ever addition to the cube. It's a 5 cost 15k with quite a few keyword skills, having Energy Source Blocker, Arrival blue green for either 1 blue or 1 green. It's nice to have that different choice. And then Revive blue green with limit 1, so it means no matter how many copies of this card you have on the board, you can activate the Revive skill on any copies of them once across all copies of the card. Then it's got a permanent where if you have a blue and green card in your, if you have a blue and green cards in your energy area, reduce the combo cost of discarding your hand by 1. So you just have to you either have a multicolor that's blue green, or just 1 blue and 1 green card in your energy area to make it just a free 5k combo. First auto has it switches card to active mode at the end of your turn, meaning you can attack with it and then restand it to have a block. And then you have an activate battle of limit 1. If it's your opponent's turn and you KO this card and choose one of your opponent's UNISON cards, you can remove a marker from the chosen card. So that's pretty cool how you can swing with it. You can rev it in for 1, swing with it, restand it, and then you can, in your opponent's turn, you can block with it, use an activate battle to KO yourself and to remove a marker from your opponent's UNISON, and then trigger revive to discard a blue and green card, or a card that's both blue and green, to bring it back to have it again to block again with, which is pretty cool. I really like it, and definitely add it to the cube. And then the last two we have, because we have at least one for every color combination. We have Android 13 Cybernetic Onslaught. It's a 4 cost 15k with Arrival green yellow for 1 green. For 1 yellow. So I think this is the first Arrival for a green yellow that is yellow energy. I think all the rest are green. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember one having yellow. It's got 2 permanents. First one being if there are 3 or more Android cards in your drop area, negate this card's energy is all skill in all areas. So a nice check land that can come in very easily for the green yellow Android cards, leaders. And then we have the other permanent of if your leader card is yellow or an Android card, reduces its combo cost in your hand by 1, similar to the ones we had in Evolution Booster. Then we got activate battle of once per turn. Choose up to one of your green or yellow Android cards in your combo area, and it gets 5,000 combo power for the battle. So that's pretty cool. You can give one of your 5k combo Android cards in your combo area an extra 5k boost to make it a super combo, which is cool. And the last one we have is King Cold Gathering the Clan, 4 cost 20k blocker with a cost of 1 red and 1 blue, and also when this card is played from your hand, look up to 5 cards on top of your deck, play up to 1 blue and red and blue multicolor freeze clan card with energy cost of 5 or less among them and shuffle your deck. So I think the only target for that, no, not the only target, but there's the cooler cards and the freezer cards. You can either get the freezer that when it swings minus all your opponent's board through barrier about 30k. You got the cooler you can rival in, but you never rival that in, and then the new Champion Pack cooler we went over, I think from the last set or now. But yeah, I think there's 3 different targets, but there's better ways to use it than this. Like this isn't a great card. But that's it for the white cards in the set, and so we then go on to the special rares. First one not being green, so the 2 that we already knew about being Great Sailorman. We saw that in the trailer video, and the whatever one for green is the Videl with Aura Strength, having a similar kind of foiling to the green cooler from last set, and having the scene for when she breaks the Spopovich's neck, which is pretty cool. So yeah, look really nice. These SPRs are just getting better and better for every set, and these 2 look amazing. But the best ones really are the next ones being black with the Bardock Unison, which we saw revealed inside of the box, and the SS4 Gogeta with fantastic art. Like this art is so amazing. I think it's the move it's using is the 10 times Big Bang Kamehameha, which is a very strong and very cool move. Yeah, the art of these 2 are just amazing. I do want to play Hat Check, and I was using those 2 in the planning on using these 2, the Bardock Unison, because it's just nice draw +1 draw 1. And and since there's going to be a change to the Black Evil Shenron one from last set for Mecha Burr, and the Skoji is a fantastic card for it as well. I'm going to try and pick up some SPRs in that Gogeta. And then next up we have the secret rare for the set. So for the next secret rare we have green, which would be an Majin Buu Budokai Absorbed. So this could be this is a contender for one of the best green secret rare, not including Salzano because that's both yellow and green, but being the best green secret rare currently, because in my opinion the best green secret rare at the moment is, as of being legal, is the Great Ape, because it has both utility on offense and defense. But this one keep it run for its money. So it's a ultimate double strike, 8 cost 40k, so 8 cost 40k power, 1 cost 10k combo power, secret rare for green. It's a Majin Buu God Majin special trait, and it's got ultimate double strike, evolve skill for free energy on a Budokai. I can't off the top of my head remember what kind of Budokai it can evolve onto, but I doubt you're ever going to use that skill. And it's got 3 skills: permanent, auto, and activate main. So the first permanent is if this card is removed from your battle area, move it from the game instead. Something that they've been putting on secret rares now, which is a really good call. It's something that should be on all secret rares in my opinion. And then you got auto, Spirit Boost 2. When this card is played from your hand, choose up to one of your opponent's UNISON cards and gain control of it. Now that is very strong, and as of currently by wording and rulings, taking control of a card does not count as playing it. So with this, until Bandai confirm an FAQ when the set drops, if you have a Unison in play and you move to Marcus and your Unison stays, you can then take your opponent's Unison and have in control 2 Unisons at the moment, because of the terminology and the way it's worded. And a way to bring it out without paying any energy is activate main battle for 2 green, play this card from your hand, and your opponent can't attack with battle cards for the turn. So this is, I see people saying it's like similar to Hatchak in terms of limiting, but it's more like Nimbus kind of thing. Just is strong. You play it for 2 energy, which doesn't require any kind of energy cost. Just once you have 2 green energy open, you can play this either in your activate main or battle, and then if it's your opponent's turn, your opponent can't attack with battle cards for the rest of the turn, which is pretty cool. But it's a fantastic secret rare, coming down extremely cheap, and taking Unisons is a unique thing that we haven't had in the game yet. Like, we can take control of battle cards, but not Unisons yet. So this is the first in hopefully many effects we're going to see. And then next we have Champ Pack Volume 21, Volume 3. So it's going to be a third installment of the Champ Pack 21 cards, which is pretty cool. First one we have is I think we have one of each. I don't think we have one of each color. I can't remember, but we have first one being Tien Shin-Han Ceaseless Strike. It's a 1 cost green battle card, which is counter attack, negate attack, place card in rest mode. And then the auto of when this card is used in a combo from your battle area, play 1 multi-form token in rest mode. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty nice support to help out the Tien deck, giving itself a 1 cost negate to go with the announcer negates they would have, and then using it from the battle area to get more tokens, so you can keep the leader's effect live of gaining 5k in crit when you have 3 tokens or Tien Shin-Hans on the board. Then we have Android 17 Held's Guidance, so a 3 cost 4k. So this is nice support for the old yellow Android stuff in set 13 and stuff coming out in set 14. There's a blocker, 2 activate mains, both limit 1. First one is if your leader card is yellow and you switch 1 yellow Android card in your battle area to rest mode, play this card from your hand. So this triggers the last set's, or the current set's yellow Android stuff, where you rest it and it gains skills or restands and stuff. And then you ever activate main, limit 1, choose 1 Super 17 card in your battle area, place this card under your chosen card from your drop area. So this is to help with the new Super 17 yellow stuff, to keep a number of stuff under your cards, under your battle cards, to get the additional power boost and stuff, which is pretty cool. So it's a pretty nice card for that. Then we have King Vegeta commanding support. 2 cost 5k, 1k 1 cost 10k combo. Blocker with the auto of if your leader card has Vegeta in its character name, so just has to have in its character name on the bottom where you have the above the special trait, just has to have Vegeta in that name, so it could be King Vegeta, Vegeta GT, Vegeta BR, anything as long as it's got Vegeta in that name, it's viable. This is viable for it. And in the at the end of a battle in which this card is used in a combo from your hand, play this card from your drop area. So you get the out combo for combo 10k, and then play as a blocker to defend the next attack. So you can out combo one attack and then block another attack, which is pretty cool. And then we have the other two, because they come in sets of 5 now, these Champ Pack cards. We have a Pycon controlling force, 2 cost 10k with 2 specified blue. Counter attack, negate attack, and play this card, so 2 cost negate. It has 2 autos. First one is when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards to his own hand. So with that you can potentially stave off 2 attacks by negating 1 and bounce a tank that could attack back to hand, which is pretty cool. And then its other auto is for 3 energy. If you have 5 or more mono blue energy and you place this card at the bottom of his owner's deck, at the start of your main phase, choose up to 1 blue Gogeta card with original energy cost of 8 in your hand, or 1 blue Pycon card with energy cost of 8 in your hand and play it. So at the moment, there's only one of each. That's the 8-drop Gogeta from set 12. That I think at the end of your opponent's turn, at the end of the turn or something like that. Makes your opponent put all their cards back to hand apart from 3. And then it's the blue Pycon 8 cost, which is a secret rare. You can play off this as well. So it's pretty cool. So it has 5 until the start of your main phase, and you can cheat out one of those for 3 energy, but we'll have to wait until turn 5, which is pretty lackluster. And then the last one we have is a multicolor, being Cooler Suffocating Tyranny, which is spelled tyranny incorrectly. Because it's a lot less different to the way they had it on the previous cards, which they spelled it correctly, which is quite funny. It's got triple strike, a rival red blue for 1 blue, 1 red, and 1 of any color. Yeah, with 2 autos. When this card is played or attacked, your opponent places the top card of the deck in the drop area. Then you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, and it gains minus 25 power for the turn. And then the other autos at the end of your turn, you may return this card to your owner's hand. If you do, switch to one of your red or blue energy to active mode. So it's quite interesting. Like, that's a strong skill. The first one, minus 6 for 25k, but it doesn't go for a barrier. So that's not as strong as the Freezer and the Evercooler, which can go for barrier. But it does trigger when it's played or attacks, but then requires 3 energy to arrival in, which is costly for an arrival. And then he's got the other auto to bounce back to hand to reuse it again to untap energy, but you're paying 3 energy to get 1 energy back. It doesn't seem that worth it to me. You'd rather keep on board. It's not too bad, but I don't think it's that great either. And then last lot of spoilers we got were the winner cards for the September-November regionals that are going to be coming up. So we have King Piccolo the New Ruler, Bagama Ferocious Roar, and SS4 Son Goku Beyond Limits. Now this art looks very nice. Like having these ones the art like this and these ones as winner prize cards is making me consider if I want to judge any future regionals or playing them, because I do want to try and win myself some of these, because that Piccolo looks so nice and it's such a good card. Having one of those Bergamos for my cube would be nice, and that Goku just really nice, and it's really good at the moment for black decks, given the Gogetas and other stuff. But yeah, they look very nice, and the art is a little bit different to the last lot, but yeah, it looks so nice, and it's better to have that. I thought it's better to have that winner stamp than the previous winner stamps, which just said winner in gold red, and you could barely tell. At least these you can tell they're winner cards because that stamp. So that's it for the spoilers for last week, covering the green and multicolors. We got the third era of regional stuff as well, like the last set of regionals winner stuff as well. And then we also got with this week the ban list. And here is what Banlai showed for the ban limited and errata list. So there's 4 cards banned, 4 cards limited, meaning you can have one copy in your deck at a time. Well, just 1 copy including your deck, and then there's 8 cards that were errata to be changed. So with the ban cards, Banlai decided to ban Beerus Godly Majesty, Pan Great Ape Whisperer, the Reboot Gohan Leader, and Universe 9 Assemble. Now the reasons for these, I think, was BUUMEADERS allow you to give you some aggro while mitigating the costs for discard, which is true. I'd say that's a good hit. Never saw it coming, but it's a pretty good hit because, like they said, anytime you would discard stuff like from the 1-drop ones that let you discard a card and draw 1 card, or the Bardock Saiyan Instincts, or the Bardock Overwhelm that lets you draw 2 and discard, you basically turn that into a draw 2, play a 15k. So you have 2 bodies on board and draw 2 cards, which is a bit annoying. So it kind of makes sense with why they hit that. And then Pan, they hit because you can free play and apply too much aggressive pressure. Now it's only really used in Aggro Sin, but I do agree it was a bit aggressive. I'll be honest, because it can easily get itself life down to 2 and giving yourself multiple, like the TP Omega has triple strike, allowing you to have 2 swings of that. It's a bit crazy. So they hit that. Then they hit the Reboot Gohan Leader because the fact that it was consistent in best of 1 and best of 3 of killing on turn 2. Now I understand that in best of 1, but even in best of 3 we didn't really see it. But I'm happy it's banned because it's just a leader. It should never have been printed. Just like, it's good to have aggro, but not oppressive aggro that just lets you where you only have 1 turn to defend yourself, and then goes hard. Is like a go hard, go home deck. It either tries to kill you really quickly on turn after you've only had 1 or 2 turns, or it kills itself trying to kill you, which becomes really boring gameplay. The last one I didn't really agree on is Universe 9 Assemble. Really, that should be a mecha instead of itself, because all they're doing is like, because the reason for some of them is that mecha, like some of the reasons is because they limit card design and stuff, which mecha does by making it so you have to be careful how you create yellow extra cards because you can't abuse them, and all they're doing is just skipping away, like just moving away from the problem, just like we did with Vegex, where for the last 3 or 4 lists they've hit stuff around Vegex rather than hitting Vegex. And they're getting to do the same with mecha. Like, I understand mecha's only been out for a set or 2, but it's oppressive and it's a bad card design. But what they're doing is just hitting around the problem, not the problem itself, like they like to do. So the bans, I do agree with those, but I just don't agree with the Universe 9 Assemble. I feel it should be mecha instead. Then with the limits, we have SS4 Son Goku Heartfelt Plea Limited, Plot Resolute Limited, Bergamo Ferocious War Limited, which is surprising because you just saw it has a winner stamp, and Drum Reign of Terror being limited. Now Heartfelt Plea is said it because it's so easy to drop now, because it's not difficult for any deck to get really a 25k red card to then drop this quite easy, so limit to 1 per deck. That's not going to really stop it. People are just still probably going to play 1 copy in their deck if they can drop it quite easily enough, because if you get enough search, you find it and still drop it, and it's still, you really should have banned it if that was the logic, but they went ahead and just limited it, which is not too bad. Which I think someone made a good point that some decks only run 1 anyway, so it's not really that decent a hit. It should have been banned instead of limited. Well, to be fair. Then you have Bardock the Resolute, which is a card that, I think for the same reason, it becomes unnecessary aggro quite easily for red decks. But then I don't see this being run in many red decks, and if they did, they run it at 1 or 2 anyway, because it's 0 cost combo, so you can't combo for anything, and yeah. So that's another hit that isn't that great. Then we have Bergamo Ferocious Roar. Now this is one I agree with being put to 1 because it's still a good card, but having a Power of the Super Saiyan existing means now it's very easily for free to trigger this in any yellow deck, and yeah, putting this down to 1 makes sense because it just means that now you can still have your 1 copy of the card and feel bad when they do draw into it, but it means they can't just 3 yellow decks just constantly over, like every turn almost, keep tapping you out with this and Power Super Saiyan, so that seems like a decent hit. And last one being Drum Reign of Terror to hit on King Piccolo, because of this being a barrier blocker, it comes down to minus of power. They limit it because it's a bit oppressive with King Piccolo, So then rather than put it unique so you can control one at a time, they put it to 1, which would be interesting to see how the King Piccolo deck fares going forward after that hit. And then we got a load of erratas. So we got they decided for the first time ever errata a secret rare card being Salzeno, which is quite interesting. Like, it's nice to see they had the balls to hit a secret rare now. Cast Right Blow, Magic Quickening, Vegex on both sides, Dark Broly on the Awakened side, the Videl errata before it came out, and they errated the Black Smoke Dragon Unison. So we had the reasons what they actually are. So with the erratas for these, the basically with Cell, it's gone so quadruple strike is taken off the card and put into its auto. So now, so it only has quadruple strike if you have 5 or more energy and it's played. So no more turn 2 dropping this on your opponent if you put an 4 in aggro sim and then just killing them from that, because I've experienced that before. It's not fun, and that's no longer possible once this comes into effect, which is on the, I think, the 6th of August. Either 6th or 8th of August it'll be in effect. But yeah, it makes it so it's still strong, a very strong secret rare, still a very good one, but now it's not as oppressive as it was before in decks like aggro sim, which is fair. And then with Catastrophic Blow, they've basically just added limit 1 to it, meaning that now, rather than playing multiple of these in a turn in Invoker to put yourself down from like 8 or something down to 0 to just burn you on one go, they can only activate one of these, this effect, once across all copies of the card for the turn, which means it can only burn you once a turn with this, which is cool. Which some people say it kills Invoker, but I don't know, I don't play Invoker. But it's just nice to see that they saw that this was uninteractive, just uninteractive burn where you could do nothing against it, and so the hit it is just a good call for Bandai. And then with Vegex, they basically changed the burst on the front side to burst 3 instead of burst 5, and on the Awakening side, they changed it to place 3 cards instead of 5 cards on the top of your deck. So they reduced it from milling 5 to 3 now, which really I thought they should have just banned it, but then yeah, they just hit it. I think they just rather hit it and then ban it because it's a starter deck lead. But even then, errating it when it's a starter deck lead means if it's a new person playing it straight from the box, not having, unless they reprint it with the errata, then it's just gonna confuse people. Just come into the game having basically having some a card in the deck, start playing with it, and it not being how it's meant, like what it says on the card is not how it's actually played. But it's still good call to try and reduce the aggressiveness and oppressiveness of Vegex by limiting how many it mills, which some people say is a good thing because now they can play it slowly with more overrealm, and some people saying it's killed it because it can't mill as much, which I don't like the leader, but it's fair enough. It's a good way to hit it. And then with Dark Broly, the change they made was the Activate Battle on the Awakened side, which allows you to use a battle card with 30k power or less, a black battle card with 30k power from your hand and drop area to gain 5k for the battle, is now once per turn, which means Dark Broly can still do everything it used to do, just now it's got less defense, a lot less defense, because now you can combo a load of them from their hand and stuff, which means when building it you have to kind of consider how many of those 30k zero cost combo cards they have, because it means it's going to have less defense. Now it's going to be interesting, like Silverveil is going to be playable, it's going to be a very strong Dark Broly, but it's going to be interesting how the deck builds going on, and also that, yeah, it's just less defense and changes the deck building a little bit. Then we have the Majin Quickening, where they've made it now you have to have 3 or more energy to trigger it, rather than how it was before. Your opponent just triggers it on turn 2, so you, like, it's the same how it was with Reboot Gohan, where turn 2 after your opponent's only 1 energy you can go start aggressing with loads of hits and a big chain as well. Now you need to have 3 or more energy, giving your opponent at least 2 turns to kind of set up a defense, which is pretty good, which is a nice call. And then Black Smoke Dragon, it's been limited, changed, so if your leader card is black, if your leader card is a black Demon Realm race card, it means that it's limited to the Demon Realm stuff, so like Toa, Truma Salsa and Mecha Kabura, because I think to hit for future things, which is understandable. It's nice to see they're doing things like that, like they did with the Dark Broly, change it to this skill. It has to be a keyword skill, a non-keyword skill rather than a keyword skill, so it doesn't get busted with Spirit Boost. And then last one, as we saw, Videl, need to switch it Unison card in active mode to rest mode instead of just choosing one. Switch to rest mode if it's not in rest mode. So that's it. That's it all for the reveals and the ban list rattle list. The ban list I thought was alright. Not what I expected. I was hoping Mecha would get banned and so would Vegeta get banned, and also expected was hoping Kortsukai would be hit, because I know that card is just unfair. Punishing your opponent for trying to defend himself is a bit unfair. It's just one of those sort of bullets that should have been printed, but still around. But hopefully, since it's not banned, if you don't have them, you should get them, because they're going to be really good. And yeah, this has been the news of the week. Once again, apologies for it being late and for being a long video. We're getting a lot of reveals, but this week we now get red. So I'm going to sign this off because it's been over an hour now. But thank you for watching. If you have watched, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe if you want to keep updated on my videos as and when they drop. And comment if you want me to do anything, cover anything in a video. I'll try and do my best I can. And also like if you enjoyed it. Try to make sure I bring these out, just cover it all, because it's nice to cover all the news from the week in one video rather than watch bits everywhere now and then. Once again, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye for now.